Have you ever questioned the legitimacy of fantasy sports apps? Do you ever wonder if your winnings are real or just an illusion? In our digital age, fantasy sports applications like Dream 11 and My 11 Circle have surged in popularity. They provide a platform for sports enthusiasts to test their knowledge, form virtual teams, and compete for substantial prizes. However, as these apps gain prominence, so do the concerns about their legitimacy. Many users are left wondering, are their victories genuine? Or are they simply part of a meticulously crafted illusion? The reality can be murky and full of twists. The fine print of these apps often reveals a different story than the one advertised, leading to doubt and confusion. And so, we find ourselves standing at the intersection of passion and caution, questioning the authenticity of our wins and the integrity of these platforms. In this video, we will expose the dark side of fantasy sports apps and unveil the truth behind their operations. Fantasy sports apps, like Dream 11 and My 11 Circle, promise a thrilling experience and potential winnings. But are they as transparent as they claim? Imagine this, a digital playground where sports enthusiasts can create their dream teams, participate in matches, and revel in the glory of potential winnings. This is the enticing world that apps like Dream 11 and My 11 Circle offer. But behind this allure lies a murky reality. These apps operate on complex algorithms and systems that are not as straightforward as they may seem. The odds are not always in your favor, and the game is not always fair play. For instance, the point system can be manipulated to favor certain teams or players, impacting your chances of winning. Let's take a real-life case study. A user, let's call him John, noticed a pattern in his games. Despite consistently performing well, he was always a few points short of winning. Upon further investigation, he discovered discrepancies in the point system which seemed to consistently favor certain players. Now, John's case is not an isolated one. Numerous users have reported similar experiences where the lack of transparency in the system has led to questionable outcomes. Often, the rules are not clearly explained, and there is no avenue for users to question or challenge the system. Furthermore, these apps also employ tactics that can be seen as manipulative. They lure users with the promise of big winnings, but the chances of actually winning these amounts are often minuscule. The fantasy of winning big is just that, a fantasy. So what's the truth behind these fantasy sports apps? They are businesses after all, and their primary goal is to make a profit. While they provide an exciting platform for sports enthusiasts, it's crucial to remember that the house always has an edge. As we can see, the reality of these apps can be far from the fantasy they sell. Now, let's delve deeper into the scamming tactics employed by these fantasy sports apps. Imagine this. You're a cricket enthusiast, and you've just discovered an app that lets you create your own team and compete against others. The adrenaline rush, the thrill of the chase, the promise of a hefty cash prize, it's all too enticing to resist. But what happens when that dream turns into a nightmare? Let's take a closer look at some real-life cases that reveal the dark underbelly of these fantasy sports apps. First up, we have hidden charges. Picture this. You've made your team, participated in a contest, and even emerged victorious. But when it comes to cashing out your winnings, you find that a significant chunk of your prize money has been swallowed up by service charges or withdrawal fees. These charges are often tucked away in the fine print, and users are left in the dark until it's too late. Next on the list are misleading advertisements. These fantasy sports apps often use flashy commercials featuring your favorite sports stars, promising big winnings and easy cash. However, the reality is far from this rosy picture. The odds of winning are often astronomically low, and the number of participants is so high that the chances of making a significant profit are slim to none. Finally, let's talk about rigged algorithms. Some users have reported suspicious patterns in the game results, suggesting that the apps might be manipulating the outcomes. While it's hard to prove such allegations, it's not entirely impossible. After all, these apps hold the power to determine who wins and who loses. These tactics not only deceive the users, but also rob them of their hard-earned money. As we navigate the world of fantasy sports, it's crucial to keep our eyes wide open, to question the too-good-to-be-true promises, and to remember that not everything that glitters is gold. The allure of quick winnings can often blind us to the risks associated with these fantasy sports apps. Let's take a moment to uncover these hidden dangers, shall we? We'll start with the elephant in the room, gambling addiction. Like a moth drawn to a flame, the thrill of predicting the outcome and the potential of a big payout can be intoxicating. This addiction can quickly spiral out of control, consuming not just your time and focus, but also your mental health. Next up, financial loss. The promise of easy winnings can make it seem like these apps are a goldmine waiting to be tapped. But remember, for every winner, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of losers. The odds are stacked against you, and it's all too easy to find yourself in a financial hole that's hard to climb out of. Then there's the issue of data security. These apps require a wealth of personal information, from your name and address to your credit card details. In a world where data is king, can you really trust these companies to keep your information safe? Data breaches, identity theft, and fraud are real risks that users expose themselves to when they sign up for these apps. Lastly, there's the risk of exploitation. These companies profit off your passion for sports. They use clever marketing tactics to reel you in, promising you the chance to use your knowledge of the game to win big. But at the end of the day, they're the ones pocketing the profits while you're left with the crumbs. So while the idea of winning big from your couch may seem enticing, it's important to pull back the curtain and see these fantasy sports apps for what they really are. They're not a shortcut to riches, but a risky gamble that can have serious consequences. Understanding these risks can help users make informed decisions about their engagement with these apps. So, how can you protect yourself and your passion for the game from these deceptive practices? Well, the first step is to arm yourself with knowledge. Just like in sports, knowledge is power. Understand the nature of these fantasy sports apps. They're not traditional betting platforms. They're games of skill where your understanding of the sport can give you an edge. However, it's also important to remember that there's a significant element of luck involved, and no amount of skill can guarantee a win every time. Do your homework. Look up reviews and user experiences. There's a wealth of information out there, and people who've had first-hand experiences with these platforms often share their insights online. It's crucial to approach these reviews with a discerning eye, though. Not all reviews are genuine, and it's wise to cross-verify information from multiple sources. Understanding the terms and conditions is paramount. Yes, it's tedious, and yes, it's easy to skip over the fine print. But this is where you'll find the nitty-gritty details about how these platforms operate. It's here you'll discover how winnings are calculated, the conditions for withdrawal, and what happens when disputes arise. Set limits on your spending. It's easy to get carried away with the thrill of the game, but remember, this is your hard-earned money you're putting on the line. Decide on a budget and stick to it. Don't let the prospect of potential winnings lure you into spending more than you can afford to lose. Above all, keep a healthy perspective. These apps should enhance your enjoyment of the game, not become a source of stress or financial strain. If you ever feel like it's getting out of hand, it's okay to step back and take a break. Remember, it's all fun and games until someone loses more than just a match.